Hi, I'm Mark from trreacts. T is out and about. We're going to do a special reaction day by fan request. We've had a special request for the Byrds and Turn, Turn, Turn. It's Christine's birthday, and she's been a great loyal fan of our channel. And for her, we decided to do what we like to call a regurgitated flashback and go back to 1965 and the Byrds and their big #1 hit, Turn, Turn, Turn. Don't forget to follow us on our social media icons that are below. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We'd love to interact with you, okay? So having said that, let's go back to 1965 and visit the great group, the Byrds from California, and their big #1 hit, Turn, Turn, Turn.
The season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven.
Now, what is really cool about this song, as probably a lot of you already know, and if you don't, you'd probably be surprised, the song is verbatim from the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, and chapter 3 in the first 8 verses. If you look at the King James Version specifically, you will hear these words almost exactly as they are singing it. That's kind of cool, so I thought I'd bring that up. You gotta love this black and white video from 1965 and some of these fads. Just as the hippie movement was just starting to kind of like get into the movement there, these girls in their big rose sunglasses and stuff, and that one girl, I don't even think she looked like she's probably over 16. It's kind of cool, but I thought I'd just bring that up there.
To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build.
So, in this wide shot of this group, do you recognize one of the band members there? He went on to have a huge career on his own with a group that you're probably going to know once I'll say his name, David Crosby. Although he left the group in 1967, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, David was a member of the Byrds in its early formation.
A time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together.
Now, the Byrds broke up in 1973. They didn't last very long, but this song has been continued to be sung by both country and western artists as well as rock bands. It's just immortal. It's become immortal, and it was written way back in the late 1950s. And Roger McGowan, who went by Jim up till about 1967, he was the lead singer of the group, the Byrds.
To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace.
You got to love the tambourine there, a symbol of basically how bands were back in those days in the early 60s. And it'd be neat to see this in color. Unfortunately, back in the 60s, a lot of the stuff was filmed, and I say filmed, not videotaped in black and white, but it's still kind of cool to watch. They were compared to the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and a lot of the British groups, even though this is an American, folk band. And folk is basically what they played, and not really rock, although they did cross over. This is just a huge hit for them.
What time you may embrace, what time to refrain from embracing.
You can tell this is like a live performance, and the early electric guitars and the instruments and stuff, you can tell it's like how bands were back in the 60s, the turtleneck sweaters. You just gotta love it, man. This video is cool. Check this girl out singing, even though they're doing instrumentals. She's still singing the lyrics to it. It's kind of cool. I love it.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every verse under heaven.
I love those sunglasses on that guy. Again, the styles of the 60s, the British look, those little square sunglasses, and he's wearing them on stage inside. Of course, studio lights are bright anyway, but it's just kind of cool. Had to point that out.
A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late.
The fans, man, they had huge fans, didn't they? They really had huge fans. The Byrds, 1965. I want to point out too, Pete Seeger. He was another lead singer of the Byrds, and Pete did a great job on the vocals there. Again, this is 1965. The song was written years before that, in the late 50s, but it was the Byrds that made it a big #1 hit for them. Hey, I am R with trreacts. As I mentioned earlier, T's out and about. Make sure you do follow us on our social media icons. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Make sure you do subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And also, if you like this video, give us the likes too. Again, this was by special request from Christine, a very loyal fan of ours, and she wanted to hear the Byrds, and her birthday's coming up, so thank you. Until then, we will see you on the other side. Have a great day.